This episode examines the role of age in second language acquisition. Tập này xem xét vai trò của tuổi tác trong thụ đắc ngôn ngữ. The critical period hypothesis proposes a limited developmental window để đạt được sự trôi chảy ngôn ngữ như người bản xứ. This theory is based on the biological concept of imprinting in animals, such as ducklings. Lý thuyết này dựa trên khái niệm sinh học về hiện tượng in vết ở động vật, chẳng hạn như vịt con. Researchers Wilder Penfield and Eric Lenenberg, các nhà nghiên cứu Wilder Penfield và Eric Lenenberg đã phổ biến khái niệm khung thời gian sinh học này cho ngôn ngữ con người. Lenenberg date the onset of this human critical period at age 2, and its absolute end at puberty. This foundational theory led to the widespread assumption that it is biologically impossible for adults to achieve native-like fluency. Lenenberg used the specific neurological process of lateralization to explain this critical period. Brain lateralization localizes cognitive functions to one hemisphere. It begins in childhood and concludes around age 13. Completion of lateralization ends the brain's natural plasticity. Hoàn thành phân hóa, kết thúc tính dẻo dai tự nhiên của não. Theo Lenenberg, người trưởng thành thất bại không phải do thiếu nỗ lực, mà vì họ thiếu hụt sự linh hoạt thần kinh cần thiết. Cases of children raised in extreme isolation provided early, rare tests of the critical period hypothesis. In the 18th century, Victor of Aveyron was unable to learn to speak after being found at age 12. In the modern era, a child known as Jeannie was discovered at age 13 after severe isolation. Jeannie acquired basic vocabulary, but her ability to master syntax and morphology completely failed. The major scientific flaw in these cases is that severe psychological trauma acts as a confounding variable. Because of this extreme trauma, feral child cases cannot reliably isolate biology as the sole reason for language failure. James Fledge's 1995 empirical study tested the puberty cutoff by examining pronunciation. The study examined 240 Italian immigrants to Canada with varying ages of arrival. This scatterplot chart maps the immigrants' age of arrival against their perceived foreign accent. The data does not show a sudden drop-off or cliff at age 13. A continuous downward trendline shows a gradual decline in pronunciation ability across all ages. Pronunciation degrades through a steady, lifelong deterioration, proving the strict biological puberty switch is a myth. Empirical research shifts from pronunciation to syntax in the Johnson and Newport study. This line graph shows the strong negative correlation found between a learner's age of arrival and their grammatical competence. Grammar scores show a steep, noticeable decline for learners arriving between ages 10 and 15. Older learners arriving between 17 and 39 show wide individual variation, but no sharp drop-offs. Grammar is highly vulnerable to age, but the data again shows a gradual decline rather than a hard biological cutoff. Alyssa Newport introduced the less is more hypothesis as a purely cognitive explanation for age differences. A young child's limited cognitive capacity actually forces them to focus on vital, small grammatical units, like morphemes. Adult cognition automatically attempts to store large, complex language units. Adult language errors stem from having too much cognitive processing power, not too little. James Fledge introduced the speech learning model to explain the specific difficulties of adult pronunciation. Adult learners already have deeply established native language sound categories. The model predicts that new second language sounds that are similar to native sounds are the most difficult to learn. The adult brain automatically assimilates the similar foreign sound into the existing native category. Adult pronunciation struggles are caused by cross-linguistic interference from their native tongue, not a biological inability to learn. Empirical research has documented rare, exceptional learners who defy all age-related predictions. One specific case is Julie, a British woman who began learning Egyptian Arabic at age 21 in a naturalistic context. Julie achieved near-native proficiency without any formal classroom instruction. In blinded evaluations, a majority of native speakers judged her Arabic recordings to be native-like. The mere existence of learners like Julie proves that native-like acquisition is scientifically possible long after puberty. The Joseph Conrad phenomenon illustrates how age impacts language domains asymmetrically. This occurs when an adult learner develops masterful, native-like reading and writing skills, but retains a severe foreign accent. Vocabulary acquisition and high-level literacy remain largely immune to age effects. Pronunciation and morphosyntax are highly vulnerable to the age of onset. Early exposure favors pronunciation, but the decline is a gradual slope, not a cliff. Adult difficulties are driven by cognitive processing habits and native language interference, meaning native-like fluency is difficult, but not biologically impossible. This podcast is brought to you by the IELTS Focus, an English center specializing in IELTS preparation.